Like you and I talking physically in the same room together is pretty cool. I like it. It's the best option. But the next best option in the 30s would be to have immersive telepresence, right? Holographic kind of experience. So we would feel like you and I now talking, doing this podcast, we would feel like being in the same room, same experience, even though we are not.
Welcome very much to this IFA 2023 live podcast. How have you found the event in Berlin so far?
Oh, pretty exciting. It's first of all, it's always great to be in Berlin. It's a hub of life and especially innovation, digital transformation. IFA has had a long history of cool innovation, and now is a special opportunity in terms of starting to make the metaverses happen, immersive XR. And I'm truly excited to be here. Why? It's not IFA is also linking into a number of events. There's a cool event called ICCE 23, which is the International Conference on Consumer Electronics, future-oriented, science-oriented. It's the scientific backbone. And guess what? I have been asked to be the general chair for that event, and I can tell you, in case you haven't marked it on the agenda yet, come check it out. There's a lot of cool speakers, keynote speakers from industry, academia, also government, and a lot of cool new ideas from research. So now here we are talking like ideas for the 30s. I work for a cool company called Nokia. At Nokia Bell Labs, we started research on 6G, which is like the next generation coming up in the 2030s. We started research 4 years back, and we have come a long way, starting to get ready to define what should be in the next standard of connective radio technology, so as to enable immersive experience.
Yeah. So just for our viewers at home and people listening, can you give a little introduction to yourself? I know you kind of talked about some of the things you did there, but a little bit of background and context is always helpful.
Yes, of course, with pleasure. So I work for a European company called Nokia, headquartered in Espoo, Finland, but we have a very strong base here in Germany, right? We have cool development and technology hubs in places like Stuttgart, Munich, Ulm, Nuremberg. My role is actual Ziegler Technology Advisor, Chief Architect with that company, with Nokia. My previous life at Nokia Bell Labs, research side of the house. I'm passionate about innovation and the future. Also, I have the honor to serve with VDE, ITG, Informationstechnische Gesellschaft, ITG, as Vice Chairman of the Board. And I'm also engaged with IEEE CT-SOC. So a number of good reasons to be here. And as you can tell, I'm passionate about translating innovation and technology into impact. And so if you look at my hobbies, if you like, it's all about collaboration, right? How do we work together? How do we reach out, translating cool things we do out of research, like at Nokia Bell Labs, but also out of the various partners we have, like academia, universities in particular, translate these into products eventually.
So one of the things you mentioned in your introduction there was the metaverse and just any sort of immersive technology in general. And I think one of the things that people don't really think so much about is just the load that would take, you know, the amount of data that is having to be transferred back and forth between devices, cloud computing, where it's all being created. What are some of the challenges and opportunities you're seeing kind of in that field? Yeah,
before we talk about opportunity for reinventing networks, future-ready networks, metaverse-ready networks, let's just clarify what we mean at Nokia by the term metaverse.
Always love a metaverse definition.
Yeah, so let's be clear what we mean.
We could go back and forth on that for a thousand
No, because we have a broad understanding, and it's very important, right? It's about human augmentation. It's about enabling humans, unleashing human possibilities beyond what we can do today. Right, that's one of the key defining elements. The other one, very exciting, and we see it happening. It started to happen already, right? Digital physical fusion. So if you like, connecting the worlds, connecting the human world, the digital and the physical world. And to link it into what's happening here at IFA as we speak, it links into a variety of new variables, new use cases in conjunction with consumer space, home appliances. But then excitingly, and that's by the way we will see, where we expect to see commercial impact first, we see a lot of potential in industry and enterprise as well. And
so that'd be things like, you know, maybe doing operations from different countries using that technology, or, you know, any sort of thing in that sector, right?
Yes, it could be remote telepresence, like you and I talking physically in the same room together is pretty cool. I like it. It's the best option. But the next best option in the 30s would be to have immersive telepresence, right? Holographic kind of experience. So we would feel like you and I now talking, doing this podcast, we would feel like being in the same room, same experience, even though we are not.
Yeah,
right?
Catching all the body language
like
and all those
6G era.
intimate bits.
Exactly. That's 6G era. And that's where, coming back to your previous question, you would then need cool new technologies, right? It starts with new spectrum, linking into new options of extreme connectivity, highly specialized use cases in industrial consumer context, architectural transformation. Another exciting area of research, and by the way, this does not come as an afterthought, is privacy and trust. Yeah. Right? Once we start building digital twins, and by the way, it's ongoing as we speak, even at this time, we need to make sure also we get privacy and trustworthiness, security, right? It's a big topic. Mm-hmm. And we have cool ideas as to how to also do this in line with what you also included in your question, namely cloud transformation. And then, of course, another key enabler here is AI, AI/ML, machine learning, pervasive, all the way to how we build networks, right? And you'll get a kick out of this. So one example is what we do research on in our Stuttgart lab is it's what we call the AI-defined air interface, right? It's optimizing the entire physical layer by means of machine learning and AI. That gives us additional efficiency. That's also very important because we are implicitly talking about design criteria, right? You mentioned performance, of course. We want to crank up capacity where needed. We want to assure latency, real-time performance, reliability. But then, and this is also really important now as we define the next generation of networks and consumer technology, it's about sustainability and energy efficiency in particular. This has become, for all the obvious reasons, a key criterion of design at Nokia, and I would argue in the industry at large.
How do we get to that next stage then? Because you mentioned, an incredible amount of complex topics there: sustainability, AI, network load, interoperability. How do you ensure that when we're moving from you've mentioned earlier that we're only at beginning stages of 5G, and then with 6G, how do we get there as a single collective where we're all working together on that technology and it's doing so in the most efficient way possible?
No, that's a wonderful question, and it's also something we at Nokia are passionate about. I'm passionate about. It's about the way we collaborate. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's about joint engagement in research. It's about public-private sector collaboration. And by the way, in Europe, we are good at this. In Germany, we are good at this. We have public support and funding, right? From the German Ministry of Research and Education, BMBF. EU level, likewise, we have, like for 6G, we have the privilege, actually Nokia leads this. It's a flagship project called HexaX to define what 6G technology is. So this is research stage, collaborating SMEs, large companies, leading research institutions, academia, and then translating this into product by means of standards. So that's the other key factor of success. We've been very good at it as an industry, I think, when you look at the connectivity network side of things. So 3GPP is a driving force, the third generation partnership project. It's a powerful standardization organization. And the way it works is like this. You have research scientists from all over the place who come up with ideas so as to solve the relevant problems, like how can we build systems that give you, where needed, more than 10 gig or 100 gigabit per second throughput, right? And then you look at options, how to do this, and the best option makes into the standard. That's kind of
how it should be working, right?
How it has been working to a very good degree. And I think interoperability, just to say it loud and clear, will also matter for the next decade, right?
How are we going to live in 10 years with technology? And then secondly, how is that going to be supported?
I think it all starts with what is it that we really try to achieve, right? And it's about helping the world act together and then linking into aspects of sustainability, not just economic sustainability, but truly also environmental sustainability, societal sustainability. Why do we need 6G, right? And to give you one example, when you think of medical space, there are so many great ideas we have so as to improve diagnostics in body and therapeutics or actuation in the body at the same time, thanks to some of the technologies we associate with 6G. So that's an example of extreme connectivity, localized, specialized, right? Just to give you an idea as to what it would really mean. So it's about making sure we serve mankind and leverage technology in the best possible way and truly serving the various industries and consumers in the best possible way.
And then how do we ensure we get there? So what needs to happen to get to that final point, to that bit where, all this technology is supporting ourselves and we're really, coming together as a people?
Well, ultimately, it's about we jointly identify the value, right? This is true for consumers, everyone for ourselves, like as an individual. Is there value in this? Is there value to do a phone call? Yes. Is there value to see mom and dad by means of immersive telepresence? Probably yes. I think that's one starting point, right? And then making sure we also have the right prerequisites in place in terms of regulatory framework. Spectrum, when it comes to the cellular technologies, is important. It's a prerequisite. It's about making sure we continue to leverage our strengths in terms of collaboration, as we have 3GPP, standardization, keeping that up. Also a fair and reasonable and non-discriminatory patent regime we should also clearly highlight in this regard. And that's what it is. And then it's also market-driven, right? It's not like somebody would drive this from the top, but rather we need to have market decide also as to what will work and what not. I think that's also important.
And for a final question, what are you most excited about to see in the 30s, technologically wise?
Yeah, personally, I think what I look forward to see the most is indeed options of immersive experience, extended reality for where we can make a difference. So areas like medical really come to mind, but also the way we work together in terms of sustainable options. Right. So think of travel. In the meantime, we have already made some progress with this. We don't need to travel every time we meet someone. But I think that's the other area, the way we work together, we collaborate.
Make you feel like you're in a room with someone, as you were talking earlier,
Yeah,
rather
absolutely.
than it being like two screens. We have that, almost like a physical connection where you can read the body language.
That's right. It would be three-dimensional and you would get even... I mean, there's some prototypes now even to get the smell of the other person. Maybe that's not a good idea.
Not in my case. I don't think you want to smell me too much.
But you get the idea, right? It's absolutely, that could hold a lot of promise and is very exciting indeed. So let's make it happen.
Yeah. Dr. Ziegler, thank you very much for your time. It was, a real joy speaking to you.
Thank you so much.